the second edition of the Coffee Table Podcast. This is our second episode. I'm Jay Jack, the Productionist.
I'm Funky Cole Medina.
We got a special guest in the house, Frank the Barber Trojan.
Frank the Barber.
Yes, sir. Give it up for Frank the Barber, ladies and
Frank the Barber in the building.
He's our first guest, so
Yes.
that's one of the reasons. Yeah, we fix that there?
That was my fault.
Okay, that's all right. Technical difficulty there, but we're rolling now. Frank, so basically what we're going to do today is we're going to just get into our guest. We're going to get into a couple other things as well. I will start off with some questions for Frank. Funky Cole Medina will have some questions for Frank, and we're just going to let it roll.
Yeah.
All right, Coffee Table Podcast. Oh, special shout out to Fresh West on the production piece.
Yeah, for getting all this set up.
Appreciate
Fresh
it.
West. Round of
Appreciate
applause.
it.
Thank you. Yeah, so I think first thing we wanted to start off with was RIPs.
Yeah,
right?
we wanted to start with some RIPs. A legend passed away recently in the hip hop industry. His name was he was in a group called Houdini. You see, we're representing that today.
Friends.
Yes, many classics. I got to see Houdini in concert when I was growing up a couple times, and they were legitimate. And rest in peace, Ecstasy, aka John Fletcher. That's one that passed away. Another one passed away was Debo. He passed away a couple weeks ago. Sad times. Tiny Lister was his real name.
He was on Friday, correct?
Yes, sir. Friday, he was on a bunch of different things. But Friday's the one that kind of stood
And
out.
so with that being said, we want to say each our own favorite Friday quote.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll start this up with, that's my bag, punk.
Yeah.
That's my favorite quote.
That's
Jay Jack?
And my favorite quote on there is, Debo tells me to shut up. I'll be quiet. But when he leave, I'll be talking again. Now, you know what I'm saying, Frank? That was my bar right there.
Yeah, every single quote on there goes anyway. For me, I had a couple, but how you gonna get fired for stealing boxes?
Yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That is a good one for sure.
Rest in peace, Tiny Lister. Another one that just passed away on
Christmas
was Boston Celtic, Casey Jones, former player, 8 rings as a player.
2 rings as a head coach.
Yeah, and he went to college with Bill Russell and then went and got a bunch of rings with Bill Russell in Boston. They went to San Francisco University together. What's that?
Tommy Heinsohn, you gotta show some love.
Oh yeah, Tommy Heinsohn passed away too. Isn't that the one that says, "It's a disgusting display"? Isn't that him?
That is him.
That's him, right? Yeah. He used to lose his mind on the microphone. But rest in peace, Tommy Heinsohn. Rest in peace, Casey Jones. Casey Jones also coached Sean Kemp and Gary Payton for a little while.
His Supersonics.
Bring back my Sonics.
Listen, folks. Every week we're gonna hear "Bring Back My Sonics" from Mr. Productionist.
Real talk.
Hey, actually, it's funny that we bring that up. Quick side note, because I sent you something the other day saying that there's rumors that there might be expansion. The Sonics might come back, and it showed a list of free agents. The only one on that list I think you guys would actually want is Isaiah Thomas. Because that'd be cool if he played for Seattle.
I'd love to grab all the cats that are from Washington State and have them play in that squad. But just bring back my Sonics. You know what I'm saying, Frank? Just bring back my Sonics, man. That's all I'm asking. You know? I don't know why you're shaking your head like that, man. Bring back my Sonics. They were stolen like thieves in the night.
I'm down with Sonics, but if we base in the Sonics and we got Isaiah Thomas, I mean...
Stop it, man. Stop it. Don't be disrespecting the hometown kids, man.
I'm just saying.
Bring back my Sonics. That's what you should be saying. Bring back my Sonics. Hey, so gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen out there in the podcast land, today's drink of the day is that eggnog.
Happy holidays.
You know, eggnog is an interesting drink, man. Either you love it or you hate it, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Are you an eggnog person, Frank?
Oh, all day, man.
Yeah.
I am. And the older I get, the more I realize I can't have as much dairy. And every single year I go and ruin myself because I need a glass of eggnog. So
right.
Shout out eggnog, still number one. I love /hate you.
Yes, sir.
I love slash hate you. I'm the same way on that. I love slash hate you.
My stomach recently
yeah,
too.
eggnog messing with my stomach, but
I'm gonna go ahead and take that
it's worth
chance.
it. It's
I'm gonna
worth
take
it.
that chance.
One cup for the show. It's
Eggnog, it's a love or hate drink,
And-
or sometimes it's both, right,
And
Frank?
Frank, how this works here? J-Jax does the pouring, then we give a little cheers, a little salute to the show,
Yes,
and
sir.
we take a sip.
Yes, sir. I wish
That'll
you were
be
here,
like that.
Frank, so I could get you
Ready?
so I could pour you some. But
Warm me up, bro.
oh yeah.
Drinking my cup, ready?
Here
3,
we
2,
go.
1.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Got it.
I got nothing to drink with.
Oh, that's good stuff.
That is good stuff. All right.
Some people like to mix spirits with their eggnog. I've witnessed some situations go down off of some people mixing some spirits in
Oh,
their eggnog.
damn.
It starts tasting real good, and then you forget what you're drinking. You know. So,
All right. Do you want me to run the rookie watch now?
yes.
Before we, all right. So a part of this show that we'll do every week, whether or not we touch up on NBA, and I'm gonna cover Frank for a second, is we run our rookie watch. So how I'm gonna do this is I'll give points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game, top 5 rookies in each category. Disclaimer: there's only been 2 games played for every rookie, except Oklahoma City rookies and Houston rookies have only played 1 game, and we'll get into why in a bit. But his name is James Harden, and we'll get into that later on in the show.
Definitely.
But anyway, so for points per games, we got Wiseman leading the way with 18.5, Edwards with 16.5, Jay Sean Tate from Houston with 13, P. Will from Chicago with 12.5, who I didn't think should have gone, but apparently he's proven himself. Precious Achiuwa from Miami with 9.5. Rebounds per game, we got Wiseman with 7, Chuma Okeke with 4, Devin Vassell with 4, Alexis Pokasevsky for the Oklahoma City Thunder with 4, Jay Sean Tate again from Houston with 4. Assists per game, we got Cole Anthony 5.5, Tyrese Halliburton 4.5, Broderick Thomas 3, Isaac Okaro 2.5, and Tyrese Maxey 2.5.
I'm kind of hurt, man, that Obi Toppin's not on this list, but
I know that we both predicted Obi Toppin to be Rookie of the Year, and right now it's hurting us.
yeah, it's early because he's got a cap.
Hold on, boys. We only got 2 games in. Those stats are
I know.
for 2 games.
I hear you.
I know.
hear you. I feel you. I just was hoping that he would, he would already be out there being able to really shine, but he's got a cap injury, so it is what it is. So yeah, I hear you. We got a long ways to go for the season.
Barrett going 2 for 17 or something last night.
Hey.
You got to help in New York if you want him to be balling out.
Yeah, but listen, man. The worst rookie of them all right now is LaMelo. He's stinking up the court. Bad.
We'll see. We'll see.
He's still got a ways to go.
Yeah. All right. So next up is Harden, right? We gonna talk Harden real quick.
Yeah.
But now let's get into his stats first, because I know we want to talk about his stats. Last night, Harden and the Rockets, he played a great game. He did catch the L though. He had 44 points, 17 Stockton's assists,
Mhm.
4 Rodmans,
Mhm.
and 4 Westbrooks.
You know what Westbrooks are? He just hit me to this
The
today.
thing about Westbrook is they can be any one of them.
Turnovers. Westbrooks is turnovers.
He said Westbrooks is turnovers.
Westbrooks is turnovers.
That's it.
All right.
So we got 4 Westbrooks, 4 turnovers.
All right.
But so that was the stat line in their loss. And then the next thing about the James Harden thing is, so why the Rockets only have 1 game is because James Harden had to sit out and they had to cancel the game because he broke COVID protocols going out to a nightclub without a mask a couple days before the game and got fined $50K. I wanted both of you guys' opinions on that, and also your opinions on the whole Harden situation with him not showing up to practice and being out of shape. Frank, you want to go first?
Yeah, man. I mean, this is one of those classic cases for me. James Harden is a monster, right? No one said anything about Dennis Rodman when he was going out flying to Vegas in the middle of the finals game. All they care about in a business, which the NBA is the way that you put out at the end of the night. I will say the whole Houston team was out. I think for COVID protocol last night, he was basically the only player. A lot of things going on. He does look a little chunky butt and things like that. But we're talking about James Harden. He helped revolutionize the league, just like like our boy over in Golden State.
Steph.
So it's like it's hard for me. But as far as getting him traded to a team, it's not going to help the cause when you hear about him constantly and his teammates are fighting with him and there's things going on. But any team that gets that man is getting a 30-point man a night. So it's hard to argue, what he does off the court when he's grinding the way that he is.
It's interesting you brought up the trade talk because there's rumors that the Celtics are going to go after him and they're going to get rid of Jaylen Brown and a couple of the pieces. And I see you shaking your head. I don't like that trade. I know Jay doesn't like that trade. I think that the Celtics are good where they are. Yeah, they got smacked by the Nets, which we'll get to in a second because I got Kyrie's stats up from that game. But I think that Harden would not be a good fit in Boston. So I want your opinion now, Jay, on the whole Harden situation, but also on the whole Harden and Boston thing as well.
My issue, I got a few issues with Harden. But then I'll get into how I feel about it, what team he could go to, where he blend in or wouldn't blend in. My issue with Harden is naturally he has 2 more years left on his contract. I don't like that he's not respecting his contract, but I kind of understand how it works. You know, I mean, but it's usually a player that has 1 year left on their contract, not 2. You know, so obviously he didn't want to stay there. He turned down 2 years at $50 million a year. But my issue with him is I don't like how he's doing John Wall and how he's doing DeMarcus Cousins. For me, if I was a player of his stature, his caliber, I would have to have at least 1 year with him to see how things go. So I'd probably definitely do 1 year with those guys, see how it goes, and then I'd be trying to get out of my contract. I also don't like how he's doing Stephen Silas, who is a rarity as being a black head coach in the NBA. Just kind of did him dirty. You know, asked for him, said that they wanted him, and then all of a sudden they wanted out. You know, and then says it's all about. Then he says it's about the owners, you know, being Trumpers, but we won't get into all that. But he says it's all about that's the issue. But if that's the issue, say that and stand on that. Say, man, I'm not playing for him because I think he's prejudiced because of blah blah blah. Like that's where they're going with it. So I don't like how he didn't just stand on that. Instead, you're going to demand where you want to go. Man, please, if I'm Houston, I'll be like, yeah, you can demand where you want to go, but you're not going. We're not sending you to Brooklyn. We're not sending you to the 76ers. So we got the money. So if you want to lose bread all year for the next 2 years, I'm one of them. I'll make you stay. You know, you're going to stay if you want to play this game. You know, the part that I struggle with is he just hasn't been very professional about how he's conducted business. You know, he could have said, I want out, and not made a big deal about it and just let them work the trades out and figure all that out. He didn't do that. Instead, he's out partying, you know. And I hear you on the Rodman tip. Like that completely, I get it.
I didn't think
but I don't get, but Rodman wasn't running around doing that during the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to make it about yourself, that's one thing. If you want to be selfish, what's that?
So he was doing it in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, which you know what? But that's not during the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Like my deal is, you have players that do that, man. Jordan was going on golf trips and doing all kinds of different stuff. That's fine. You know what I mean? Just show up for work and do what you're supposed to do at work. You know, don't come back with possibly something that can get the rest of your coworkers sick. That's just common sense, man. So, and I just the way that he's acting, I see a lot of NBA people like saying, you know, he scored, he's good, so it doesn't matter. No, it does matter, man. Like you got a lot of kids.
Do we not think? How many times have we heard of James Harden doing this before?
Never.
That's a goose egg. You don't think any of this has to do with him wanting to be traded so bad that boy is going to step out of line?
Absolutely, that's why he's showing his rear end the way he is. But it doesn't mean he gets a pass for it.
I mean, messing around with the pandemic and messing around with that is definitely messed up. But he might be, and I don't know, I'm not a Harden fan like that. I understand the situation, but I think he's going to affect any team he goes to.
You know,
I don't think there's a good fit for Harden.
You know,
I think Harden be on a team where there's no stars.
I agree with you 100%.
Now, it's interesting that Frank said that because we had a conversation earlier about, I was bringing this up and kind of back to my Westbrook joke about turnovers, is Harden and Westbrook share one thing in common. They both haven't won a championship.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that they don't fit well with teams. Like, I just think that, like, at the end, like, the one thing that I thought was comical about watching the Rockets play the Lakers last year in the playoffs was at the end of games, whoever had the ball, whether it was Harden or Westbrook, they were doing something dumb and turning the ball over at the end of the game. In a big moment, you can't be doing that. And that's what Harden did last night against the Blazers. And I understand he did it trying to pass, but I feel like he was trying to pat his stats, and I think that the big thing, to your point about Harden, is that it's one of those players like Westbrook, like KD jumped ship. He was done.
44 and 17, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is interesting with him because he doesn't use, he has his moments where he shares the ball like that, but it still doesn't seem right because he'll dribble the ball for 20 seconds, ISO.
But that's
obnoxious. He can't fit in with another team
but that's
playing
my
ball
point.
like that.
So basically, he's padding his stats because he knows if I dribble the ball for 20 seconds, when I pass the ball to someone, they have to shoot it. So if they make it, that's how I'm going to get my assists. I'd be interested to find a stat on how much time is left on the shot clock when he passes the ball.
He has been doing this for a long time. He's been the man, no matter the situation. They've had some players now in Houston.
Yes.
Yeah. Chris Paul.
They had
Russell Westbrook.
CP3. They had Westbrook. They had Dwight Howard.
PJ Tucker.
PJ's still there.
Oh, PJ.
I mean, he has a squad right now, and that's what I don't get is why he doesn't want to play with John Wall and Cousins. I
John
don't
Wall,
understand
Cousins,
it.
PJ Tucker, him. Like,
That's a squad. If he plays with them, they finish second or third in the West. No question. With that squad.
but they don't go to the finals.
I don't even think they're top 5, top 6.
I said that last week.
Who you
week.
putting ahead of them? The Lakers, the Clippers.
Both LA's, Denver.
Denver. Oh, speaking of Denver, remember I told you about Denver? And you laughed at me?
Then on Jokic is
But remember that time I went to the shop and I was like, man, Denver's kind of raw. This is well before the bubble. And you're like, Denver? And I was like, man, they're a problem. You don't remember? You don't remember? You didn't say they were garbage. You just didn't think they had it like that. And I'm like, bro.
did not think they had it like that is correct.
Yes, and that's what you told me. You didn't say they were trash. You just said, man, they ain't got it like that.
I love that squad. Any team that revolves around a team, which we're talking about all players that aren't teammates. They're very good individual players. Denver's one of those squads that plays as a squad. And Jokic, and that's why I've always been a fan of them. But you are right. I did not think they could make it to the Western Conference Finals.
No. I remember specifically talking to you
Well,
about
hold
Denver.
on. I don't think anyone here predicted them to come back from 3-1 down twice, and then come back from down double digits 3 games in a row against the Clippers.
I'm glad they did that to the Clippers, though. Clippers thought they had a ring. You know what I'm saying?
And LeBron haters were thinking the Clippers had the ring easy.
I like that even more.
Yeah, same.
But, so anyways, Harden. Let's wrap this Harden piece up.
Yeah.
So I don't see him fitting in anywhere. And that's what's crazy. Like if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, I want nothing to do with him, especially the way the show's rolling right now.
Oh yeah.
Up there.
Okay. So that's my point about Brooklyn. Real quick, just to stop you. So Brooklyn, obviously, as you know, has won I think both games by a margin of like 22.5 points, and KD hasn't even been their best player. Kyrie had 37 points, 8 Stocktons, 6 Rodmans.
Mhm.
I didn't look at the Westbrook because that wasn't important in that game. He shot 7 from 10 for 3, and he's shooting 65% from 3 on the season in 2 games, averaging 31.5, 6, and 5. So they're rolling. I don't throw Harden in there at all. I don't change that team one bit,
No, heck no.
and I don't change
Why?
Philly either. By the way,
Their bench play is perfect. They got Karis LeVert. They got the Afro Samurai. You know what I'm saying?
Jared Allen, the Afro Samurai.
Man, their squad they're perfect. Like I don't even switch.
and their
anything.
coaching is good because Dan Toney's good as an assistant there because he can run the offense, and Steve
Right.
Nash runs the whole show. And I don't think he fits in Boston either. I would not trade Jaylen Brown for him at all.
No, Frank, you wouldn't either in that, right? You love Jaylen Brown.
First off, it would just be Jaylen Brown. It'd be Jaylen Brown,
And
Marcus
Tatum.
Smart, it'd be a couple of first-round picks. I would never do that.
No,
My entire life would I ever trade for James Harden the way that he's wilding out right now.
Yeah.
no way.
All I was saying before is sometimes there's certain squads in the leagues that need to get money because we were talking about Ball a little bit. He's not doing nothing right now.
He
He's
will.
making his whole franchise look a little bit better because he's a ball boy. And, any reputation or anything is positive over there. But I don't know, man. I'm never taking. Never, ever, ever.
No, I hear you.
All right. That session's done.
Yes.
Now we got to get into name changes. So, quick thing in the name changes. I'll start off. We got you're repping. So explain what you're
Okay.
repping because this kind of goes hand in hand with both teams. because the logo looks more like the football team's old logo, but the name is the same as the baseball team's name, and then so we'll kind of lead into it. All I'll say is this next section's on the Washington football team and the Cleveland Indians and their name change.
Right. Well, Washington football team is that step, and they finally.
They were pressured into doing it.
Yes, but they also made that decision to change their name. Their arms were twisted to do it, but it needed to happen. And right now they're the Washington football team, and everyone seems to be obsessed with the name, though. People are like, man, they don't even have a name, but everyone's talking about the Washington football team.
The funniest thing is they're sticking it to the league by winning their sorry division right now.
Yeah, their division is trash over. But they've taken that step. So within recent weeks, the Cleveland Indians have taken that step. So when I talk about the Cleveland Indians, I was never a fan of the squad, but I loved the logo, and that is so wrong of me because it is racist as hell. Like there's no reason I should like the logo. I even have a couple Cleveland Indian hats, which I brought on the set today, and it has Chief Wahoo on here, and it is unbelievably racist. The big teeth, the big nose, it's just, it's not cool.
I'll just throw something. They did change their logo. It was just the C. The C. They had the logo changed,
yes,
but the name hasn't been changed. And I know so what he's repping is his high school.
And that's where I am really torn.
Because
I went to Renton High School in Washington, and we're the Renton Indians. And I love being an Indian. You know what I mean? It's like pride, tradition, and excellence. You can see my shirt, repping Renton right here. And I'm so torn and I shouldn't be because, it's very touchy. For me, the difference though was for us, we didn't have a logo like this mocking the Native American. We had a logo, guy by the name of Henry Moses, who was a baller at my high school in his era there. They chose to name the mascot after him. And so when you go into the auditorium, they have a picture of him, man, he's just handsome, looks great, and we always just respected it as that. And recently I've been talking to some of my friends from Renton, some of my other fellow alumni, and we all agree we got to change the name. But it's just been it's hard for me because, man, I'm an Indian, you know what I mean? Like that was the pride piece in it. And so I wanted to definitely talk about this today because it's a name that definitely needs to be changed. I don't know what they're going to do in regards to my high school,
right?
But it's been talked about for years.
Well, now that you bring up the name change part, so first of all, and I'll ask you then, Frank, then you, for both teams, name ideas. So let's start with Washington. So,
pick me, I got the perfect name.
All right, I know what he's going to pick, and I have it down on this list, but I'll let J-Jax go first. What's your name, your new name for the Washington football team?
That eggnog's hitting different. Just that you know that right there. It's hitting kind of different. If I was a Washington football team, that name would have been an easy switch for me. My name would be the Washington Pigskins. I would not have to change the name Skins. People could still refer to me as the Skins, which is like huge. That's a huge for the Washington for their crowd, for their fans. I would just get the best guy coming up with the best designs to make a football that just looked insanely cool, insanely crazy, just kind of where, what was the name of the movie? It was about Cleveland Indians, but what was the name of this movie? Major League. You see how they had that cool little logo with the baseball, that's what I'm talking about. Something cool like that they could do.
You're going to put a pig on it? A pig?
No pig. It'd be a football. Because everyone, if you don't know a football is a pigskin, you should never be dealing with football ever in your life. But
well, you go away from the Indians, the vegans start coming after you, bro. You're in a lose-lose right now.
You know what? The vegans got to be bitter because, man, there'll always be pork on my fork. You know what I'm saying? So
there will always be pork on my fork.
You know what I'm saying?
Time out.
I'm always going to be eating
Time out. There will always be pork on my fork. That's quoted. December 27th, 2020 by Coach Jay Johnson of the Philadelphia Knicks.
Hey, so, anyways, there will always be pork in my fork. But anyways, they need to, the football, they would come get an artist that is just ridiculously good and just make it, you know what I mean? And then you can still call them the Skins, easy, no harm, no foul.
Okay,
That's my name.
Frank, what's your name?
I'm going back. So I sent that vegan thing for a specific reason. We are definitely in a time to where every little thing is put under a microscope. Everything is taken at full value or whatever you want to
Cancel culture.
I have friends. I have a friend specifically who his dad was Alomar Jr. over in the Cleveland Indians, and I got a chance to cut his hair. And a lot of the time, after seeing pictures of the greatest baseball player potentially in that organization with such a reputation, which they have because they did Major League, they did certain things. You know, when you think about baseball, the Indians show up, and some of their traditions might be held harder than anyone's in the league. I mean, you got Wrigley, Boston, New York, obviously, but when it comes to like that different type of value, if we were talking about the logo being changed and the name staying the same, I'm 1,000,000% for that because the tradition, man. I mean, no matter what, like when somebody who was creating that logo that we talked about, they weren't thinking I'm going to directly make fun of or disrespect a certain culture. I mean, as far as anybody knows, it could have been to represent somebody that they thought highly of, or it could have been, you know, a big honor for somebody to get something like that. So
Chief Wahoo, kind of like my high school. Kind of like my high school, but Chief Wahoo, but Frank. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the logo got changed.
The logo did get changed. It's just the letter C now. It's a red letter C.
So for me, keeping that tradition by calling them the Indians, if the logo was changed, because that's what the issue is it looks just like the big nose, the whole deal.
So your point is, okay, but the Redskins though, like that, the word Redskin.
I didn't touch on the Redskins.
No, not yet.
It's a derogatory term towards somebody to call them or make fun of them, or to say something like that. That's a direct correlation. That's a lot different. I think you keep the logo, or actually I don't even remember what the logo is anymore.
It's the letter W.
Okay, so you keep the logo, change the name, same type of situation. You know what I mean? You can't call them that. I think they're switched around, but for two different reasons for me. But tradition, especially for baseball, that tradition is being torn apart. Like my boy and his family are now a part of something that isn't going to have the same tradition. It's going to be altered. It's going to be affected a little bit. So, and I'm not speaking for anybody. That's just the way that I feel about it in that sense. If we can eliminate the problems to where the big things lie, which in football it's the name, not the logo, and in this it's the logo, not the name. So it's you know we're talking about two different situations specifically on the same type of name for two different sports. So
football's tough though. Football's tough, Frank, because some people are offended by the logo and the name. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, and like I said, if it was a pigskin and the vegans, you know, there's always going to be some sort of issue in that sense. If you can eliminate the direct making fun or directly disrespecting any type of person or any type of thing, then you do that. But sometimes that tradition, for me, a lot of that means look at the Patriots logo. You don't think that's coming right around the corner?
That could easily be coming right around the corner.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, no, okay, the Patriots should have never went away from their old logo. That was their mistake.
And I'm not even trying to go there. I'm just saying, as time goes on, name changes and the type of era that we're in, the digital world where, you know, everyone can talk and feel a certain way, be a certain way, things are going to change.
Right, yeah.
And
now,
the most direct ones are the Redskins and stuff, but I think there should be that line drawn in now to where we can still keep some of those traditions without affecting the way that we're talking or dealing with certain people.
I agree.
Yes, and
now,
it's tough too because sorry to cut you off.
No, you go.
Yeah. It's tough too because right now you have the Native American community, which I refer to them as Native Americans, and you have some Native Americans that don't like being called Native Americans. They still want to be called Indians. So, and then you have some that are like, don't call us Indians, call us a Native American.
Well, yeah,
so,
because of the historical background. Columbus thought he was an Indian.
Right.
That's why he called him Indians. So
right.
Some people, that's an offensive thing, which I understand. But I kind of want to touch up on a point because, first of all, I don't know what you would name Washington's football team. If you had a name in mind.
We need a name.
I mean, if I had to go with it, I mean, I would stick with somewhere where you can choose colors.
Right. No, so that's where I'm getting to. So first of all, I just want to touch up on a little bit of history lesson.
Mhm.
This isn't Washington's first name change. If y'all remember, the Wizards used to be the Bullets.
Yes. But then they were the number one. They were the number one murder per capita.
Right, exactly. So they
That
changed
way
from
from
the
that.
Bullets, and nowadays, if they were the Bullets, they would have been forced to change anyways because of all the shooting and violence that had
Yes,
been
that's
around
the
that.
reason they changed it.
Right. So, anyways, then they changed colors. Then they went back to their old colors with the Wizards. But that's not my point. So my name for Washington goes hand in hand
Reds.
with
I mean, the
for
Washington
the football team goes hand in hand with what their hockey team is and with what their baseball team is. So Washington D.C. is the nation's capital.
Mhm.
Washington Nationals makes sense. Washington Capitals makes sense.
Mhm.
I have the Washington Senators or the Washington Generals.
I
Kind of to stick with that theme of sort of representing the nation's capital. And then I think that because the Ottawa Senators in hockey have very similar colors. Obviously, you can't use the same logo. You could either keep the W logo, or you could just keep it to something kind of more specific to what everything else is kind of based off of with the Capitals and the Senators, or excuse me, the Senators and the Generals. That's how I feel.
Isn't it? You know what I mean?
What?
Was there kind of like a war with the Indians and people? I don't know, man.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but you would do something that had to do with it being the capital.
Right. I think you would have to do the fact of it, because if you look at a lot of teams, right, the Los Angeles Lakers used to be Minneapolis Lakers because you have the land of the
Right.
lakes. You have Boston, the Celtics, because of the Irish background. You have the New York Yankees. This is like each team kind of fits in with like the Utah Jazz used to be in New Orleans. New Orleans is
Do you remember the show Basketball, the movie Basketball?
I remember seeing it.
I remember
Not
hearing
seeing
it.
it.
I remember hearing about it.
There were basically it's the South Park creators, and there's a scene in there where basically they put arrows pointing all over the country. The Oilers don't like music anymore, so they went to the Jets. It's the same exact thing.
Right.
We're going to see so many different changes. I mean, look at you talking about expansion already. We've already seen 3 expansion teams in the past 3 years in 3 different sports.
Bring back
And
my
it's
sons.
gonna change. What is going to change? So it's going to be crazy. I'm telling you, next 5 years are going to be nuts.
I agree.
Gotcha.
I agree. No, I don't have a name for Cleveland because I don't know what they're gonna do. When they were winning and going to the World Series, everyone was saying the Windians, but that doesn't work because that still has the word Indians in it, so you can't do that.
Indians.
The Windians. What?
You know, somewhere you can still have the same little.
Well. See, what's interesting to me is that their football team just went simple. Cleveland Browns.
Right.
They went simple.
I don't have a name for Cleveland.
I don't either
I
because
don't.
their colors are blue and red. Cleveland Blues, you could get confused with blues, and they don't have like the music genre blues. And you can't do the Cleveland Reds because the Cincinnati Reds already exists. So that's out the picture. So they have to come up with something completely new. And I don't know what to do there.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to come up with for that. But they got to have to change this situation.
They are.
Anyways,
All right.
So next step, where we at?
Topic 3. So this is where kind of Frank steals the show. This is
Yeah.
kind of like your one shining moment. Sort of. Because, so now we're going to be asking you a lot of questions. We'll ask you questions, you'll answer, we'll give follow-up questions and everything. And yes, some of these questions may lead to debates because the man to my right over here seems to, he's a big 40 Water fan and he'll take it to his grave that 40 is the best rapper in the world.
Ooh.
But we might get into that later. But anyway, so...
Good without the pitch.
Yeah.
The Bears without the pitch.
Anyways, all right. So I'll start off. My first question is so obviously, how old are you and where are you from? Like a little background about you.
33, about to be 34 in January. Was born in 87. Grew up in Portland. Left Portland middle school time. Was in the Bonnie Eagle Lake Region area. I'm a Laker, LR baby. Let's go Lake Region. Yeah. So.
It's funny you mentioned Lake Region because I went to Cape and we always had a winning record against the Lakers. But I'll keep bad at that. I'll keep it.
Maybe this new school generation. But I don't know if you heard me. I said I was 33.
I know that. So back then you used to win, right?
You think
Oh
about
yeah, man. That's all I do is be fucked up.
So
So that's my first question, and then you have a couple, and then I'll jump back in.
right.
Because
Yeah, well, you wanted to know how we.
Well, no.
How we.
Once you get. Oh yeah. So how did you guys meet? Sort of deal. So how did you and Jay Jax meet?
Yeah.
Man, it's funny. All right, so when you put certain people, right? Coach Jackson is how everyone knows him. Everybody knew he is Frank the Barber. Now, sometimes when you have two very strong personalities like that, you find yourself meeting with the same type of people. And we probably saw each other a few times, but when we first really, really started kicking it, I'd say it was 2012.
Yeah.
I opened a barbershop in Portland called Momentum, and they still have rap night going down. I keep forgetting the name of that place.
The Big Easy.
The Big Easy.
Yeah.
And I think I'll let Coach get in there a little bit, but basically I think I met him in a Santa outfit or something like that. I'm not sure.
He did. It's funny, meeting Frank, it's just like he said, you know, we kind of strong personalities, but when I first moved out here, I was told about their little hip hop scene out here. They had like a pretty solid hip hop scene out here, and I kind of just jumped right in and just started going to shows, and then figuring out what MCs I liked and I was feeling, and then I just kind of introduced myself, and it was what it was, man. And I ran into Frank one day. Spose basically asked me to be in this video for him. He wanted a Santa Claus, a black Santa, and I said I'm with that.
Is that what that Instagram post was the other day?
Yes. So that video's got over 1 million views now, but I did a video for him, and I was the Black Santa. And originally he wanted me to wear the beard, and I just, for whatever reason, the beard didn't happen, so it was just straight up my face. So we did that all day, and then that was kind of like, then, you know, everyone knew who Frank Rose and Frank the Barber was. But at that point, we kind of started linking up and just seeing each other here and there, you know. I mean, I would go in not for haircuts, but I'd go in, you know what I mean, for my sons, and
even showing I love, like, ever since he had a chance to have his boys get involved in the barber culture, because we could have a whole different podcast on how I feel about barbering and what it does immediately for the community and for people at a young age and developing. I mean, he's been through it the whole time. I mean, I own coming on 3 shops right now, and there's more coming.
yeah,
But every single one of those shops, I got a picture with Coach and me when he came and supported me at each one of my spots with him, his kid, his wife, and, you know, anyone else that could come along for the ride. I mean, there was kids all over the place. So when we started clicking real quick with that, I mean, we still have conversations where we talk to each other about sports, and, you know, I'll ask him questions or whatever it is. I mean, I remember last year we used to have discussions all the time about rules, specifically in the NFL comparatively to the, you know, we do that, but when it all started, I think it was because of music, and it was because of hip hop.
Yeah. Exactly. It was definitely a hip hop thing. It just brought us together, and then his livelihood has been. Yeah, yeah, man. This cat. So so I'm gonna ask you a couple questions real quick too, and tied to what you do. What was the blueprint for your business? You know, and what are your future aspirations? Because not to cut you off, but I remember when I first met you, and you were not at the bottom, but I mean, you were at a certain point where you were like, yep, all right, this is what I have planned. So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
First off, mindset, right? I've always told myself, whatever I approach, whatever I do, I'm going to try to do it to the fullest of my ability. And I stuck with it, right? The biggest thing in life is being consistent. And that's something that I take a lot of pride in. But when I first started, I was doing haircuts in the back of trucks. I was going to schools. I was in my mom's basement. I was, you know, messing people up. I was burning people. I mean, I was consistently on it. But I ended up going to Husson to play football. And when you are a white dude from Maine and you go to a school with mostly white people, and you go to a place to play football where there's a lot of different mix, right? And a lot of things change. And that's where I saw the culture. When I was getting haircuts, it was a number 3 on the side, finger length, and it was done by somebody who really didn't have that same type of passion. And as soon as I saw that culture, as soon as I saw what the barbershop was and what happened, I dropped out of school. Now I went to barber school. And I started from there, and I came back up here, and I brought that up here, right? Maine never had that. Maine, even still, you talk about barbershops in Maine, there's not a lot of them comparatively to other states, Massachusetts, New York, Connecticut. I mean, we are small. So
Right.
when I started falling in love with that, I was like, okay, this is my retirement. This is gonna be my plan going forward. Like, I need to put all my cards in this because now that I did, educated myself, and now that I've put in work and done all these things, I need to focus on how do I make enough money for me and my family whenever I decide to do that, and so on. So I was just like, I'm a people person, Jay Jack's a people person. I know you guys hook up for the same type of reasons. It has nothing to do with anything other than the people that I've been putting into my shops. I'm not hiring people for a certain way. I'm looking at people for face value. I've had the ability to be able to, read people pretty quickly. So when you put the right pieces like together like that, it just goes. I went from one shop to now going on to 5 in 3 years of time because you find that recipe, right? Like, you find out what's important. It's got nothing else to do with the people that are showing love and supporting you. It's almost like I'm the coach to the team, just like you are, and you see those kids looking up to you. Now, if you put a good enough, mark on those people, and they believe in you, I mean, you can attest to that. As soon as those kids start believing in you, that's when you start seeing results. And right now, I got everybody on board. Like, everyone believes in it because of the effort, because of the time. I mean, I'm going on 20 years cutting hair, and I'm 33.
Right.
You want to talk about going all out and staying invested in something. I mean, I've lasted longer than marriages and weddings. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, not many people can do one thing and get super nasty at all aspects of it, right?
Right.
I tell people all the time, there's a difference between a good barber and somebody who's good at cutting hair. There's a big difference, but as soon as you merge those, it's game over. So right now, I mean, what I'm trying to do is set the right people in place. I'm getting that going, and I found out that I love helping. I love educating. I love preaching, man. So I love it. So I'm going to open up the first barber school in the state, and I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know how I'm going to pull it off, but I'm going to do it the same way I did everything else, and that's grinding.
Yes.
Grinding. I'm going to make it happen. So, like,
I love
that's the long version of kind of what I'm trying to do, but that's how it started, man. I started literally doing nothing, messing up haircuts, burning people, to now owning 5 different shops. So just get the right people in your circle.
There it is.
And preach to that.
I like that, man.
Preach to that.
I like that. Hey, how'd you come up with the name Crow's Nest in your logo? How'd that come
Which,
about?
by the way, that is a dope hoodie. I want to throw that out there with the logo on it. That is a dope hoodie.
Yeah. So the big thing, I've always had that cast around me, right? So if I needed something as a barber, you need a plumber, I probably know a plumber. You need someone who does design work, you probably know somebody. I reached out to one of my good friends, Channing Day. Goddamn Chan.
Yeah, goddamn Chan.
Goddamn Chan was doing, he was doing a lot of work online and making, editing and doing all these certain things, making beats and rap. This kid he can do anything. And I told him, I'm like, hey, I want to be realistic about this. I've done a couple logos, and when you put your logo on something, when you go all out, it's hard to read it on that like PDF files and to transfer it to be on a Facebook page or an Instagram page or put it on a T-shirt. So I was like, I want something simple. I need something simple, and I need something that gets to the point of exactly what I'm trying to do. And I always had the idea of putting the straight edge in the pro's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that'd be dope. It'd be easy to play with. It's a simple logo. It's recognizable. And my homeboy drew it up for me, and we just took off with it.
Gotcha.
The name, my last name is Croson, C-R-O.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on the 2nd floor when I first opened up Crow's Nest. So the thing about it is I'm about tradition. I'm about family. I'm about all that, right?
Yeah.
My family grew up in Gloucester, Massachusetts. Now we're talking a place that's fishing heavy, right? And there's a movie called The Perfect Storm. In The Perfect Storm, they go to this bar called the Crow's Nest.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an homage to my family because my family is heavily involved in all that. So it was a good way for me to do it. I was on the 2nd floor.
Yeah.
My last name's Croson, and I knew there was a Crow's Nest bar down in Mass that I was trying to represent to show kind of like what my family is about.
Right. Okay. I can dig it. Okay. I never knew what that was about, man. I never knew what that was about. All right. So, hobbies.
Hobbies, and then I jump in.
Then you jump in. So, I know you've always loved to do music, from rhyming to singing, and when people, people, if they know you, you're still a hell of a break dancer. You'll get down right now and do a handstand and break it into a windmill,
Yeah.
But what are some of your hobbies that you're really digging these days? That you're really, besides obviously you're always cutting hair and grinding that way. But.
I tell my guys all the time, I'm like, if you can break a stereotype, you've made it in life, right? Like, I love breaking stereotypes no matter what it is. I'm a nerd. I love Final Fantasy video games. I play disc golf. I collect sports cards, but I'll shake you on a basketball court and run through you on a football field. So
wow, that sounds like a challenge for a one-on-one.
Oh, bro, you don't want ping pong, horseshoes, darts, and
this
you
guy.
want to get down.
This guy.
So.
This guy. You and Shane Rise.
Yeah, honestly, I've been on the sports cards thing. Like, when you start working a lot, it's hard to keep up with sports the way that you did when you were in college or in high school, right? When you're in college and high school, you're watching Sports Center, you're probably eating something disgusting or Subway or something like that. But, like, you start losing touch with it as much as you like. And I started collecting cards because it got me back into the culture, back into knowing player stats and heights and weights and yards and, guessing on who's going to be good or who's not going to be good. And that's what I fell in love with. So I've been going heavy on the sports cards and Pokemon cards.
I've been seeing that. I've been seeing you putting up posts.
And the Mario and Luigi stuff, man.
Hey, so,
shout out the wall.
So question for you, though. Is it baseball, basketball, football pretty much?
For the cards?
It's hard for me with names. Hockey, same thing. Like, I just can't. I don't like being involved in things where I can't be educated, and it's hard for me with that. Baseball is probably on the lowest of the list. I'm still pretty good, but basketball and football, I mean, I know as much as I can right about now.
Gotcha. Okay. Is it pretty lucrative? Has it been lucrative for you?
I mean, it's one of those things, dude. It's like, it's a hobby where you can make money if you decide to. It depends on how hard you go. And for me, I mean, I've probably sold over $2,000 worth of cards in the past few days, but they were some of my best cards.
Right.
What I mean? So it really just depends on how you look at it. I mean, I picked up a card for $100 that I sold for $1,300. So it's like, it depends on where that value. How much did I spend in between that to get there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Gotcha.
But it's definitely something that's fun. Like, obviously like the John Morants and Zions, Obi Whites, and then we were talking about Obi and some of those dudes. Like, it's fun for me to predict how these players are going to do by my collection.
Right.
I balled out and grabbed a bunch of, ball cards or whatever, and he ended up playing out, and I made a couple stacks. I'd be stoked.
Right. I feel you.
Well, no, so my question, actually kind of quick thing is, do you have a couple cards you want to show? Or?
I mean, I don't have nothing crazy. I had something for the rookies things and for other players, but I don't know if I have anything right here that's nasty.
That's
My
all right.
room's pretty crazy full right now.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
Actually, I was just wondering if you had something, but all right. So then this is kind of where my kind of
This
questions.
is my baby right here.
Let's read it.
Watch out for this boy.
Kobe White.
Watch out for Kobe, man. I'm
Mhm.
telling you.
I've been on the Kobe White train for a while, so.
You like that hair, don't you?
He looks funny though. I can't get over his face, bro. That's switched up face, bro. I'm like, you are so ugly. Not like Sam Cassell ugly.
Yeah.
Sam Cassell. We used to call Sam Cassell the alien.
Oh man, he was. And he was
But he used to cook.
He was ugly. You know who else is ugly? I saw him the other night.
Who's
That's
that?
Shammy.
Who?
Or whatever.
Landry Shamet.
Oh my god, he's top 5 ugliest dudes I've ever seen.
Top 5? As a professional athlete? Damn.
Wow.
Who else? I mean, you got, Villanueva back in the day.
Oh. Chuck,
Don't
big
be mad at
Chuck,
Charlie.
Chuck
Don't be mad at Charlie.
Villanueva.
Charlie had alopecia like me. I ain't mad at Charlie. But go ahead.
Hey, mad, but you don't have a weird looking face. I mean, you got that's fine. I mean, you're bald and beautiful. You should know. But there was some other stuff going on with that boy. I mean,
This
he
guy,
was going a little too far. I get that. But man.
Who else is on that list? Who else is on that list?
Oh man,
I
there's
mean, I could do a full top 5 of all who's on this, but we
yeah.
can't go there right
No,
now.
let's-
I don't want everybody to get my list of stuff real quick.
Don't worry, we'll come visit you. You're gonna be a regular. We come visit you while you're at the shop. Like, we're gonna just tune you in at the shop.
You got shop talk, but
Absolutely.
Who's the ugliest tall guy? Probably George Marchand was a pretty ugly dude, or whatever his name was.
Oh, I know who you're talking. The dude that played for the Bullets.
Yeah, he played for the Bullets.
Yeah.
He's pretty ugly tall, dude.
Damn. All right, real quick before we get into my questions, something we haven't said yet. Everyone, please go like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and like the Crow's Nest Instagram page, Facebook page.
Yes.
They're our new sponsors. Shout out to Frank for being our sponsor on the Crow's Nest.
Yes, we appreciate you.
Appreciate you, our first official sponsor. Hopefully, first of many.
Let's go.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun watching you guys, man. I had a chance to watch JJ kind of go through the vision of kind of where they were gonna be, so I'm excited for you guys to kind of ball out, find out, get some cool people on here.
Yeah, man.
That's
the
goal,
goal.
man.
Hey, the goal is to blow up. That's why
That's
it's the blow Dutch.
You know what I'm saying? I feel him. Yeah, man. Hey, we really appreciate having you on here. Do you have any more questions?
I actually do have a lot of questions.
All right.
So, kind of sticking with your hobbies, and I can guess, but what's your favorite genre of music?
Yeah, I think it's tough.
Okay, give me like if you can't think of one, then give me a couple.
I'm saying I love the rap, but as I say, you get older, it's different. I'm on the R&B tip, man.
Perfect.
90s R&B?
90s R&B?
I mean, I'm listening to JT here. Like,
Timberlake.
I'm on that like poppy R&B, like, and then the only thing I listen to is like sports podcasts and stuff right now. At the shop, I listen to everything, but when I'm trying to vibe out, I'm listening to something that's chill, keep my heart rate down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, it's like
Gotcha.
right now.
Okay.
Right. So, right, I feel that. So then, when you kind of answered it, so your favorite artist or group from that genre, your favorite genre from R&B, would be Timberlake?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, man, but that's my corny one. I mean,
Or it can be your favorite rapper, either one, because I know you like rap, so just favorite.
my favorite rapper. I mean, my favorite rapper right now, and always has been ever since day one, was the swaggiest man on the planet. That's Weezy F Baby.
Oh, okay. You're a Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne guy.
See, I love somebody who has swagger, bro, and that's something that you only see now. But that boy knew how to change that type of culture. He knew how to rap in such a way where he threw some swag on, but still spitting verses. And now you just see it kind of transition to just swaggy or.
And no verses. Right. No bars.
Yeah,
I hear
it's
you.
a lot different. But
Yes.
even still, I mean, Locksmith, I mean, I'm talking, like, I love anyone who spits lyrics.
Yes, but you're a big Anderson .Paak guy too.
Oh, but how do you even classify a man like that?
Right.
He's a rapper, he's a singer, he's a musician. I mean, that dude's, I mean, and the same thing with, I can't even think of his name right now, but Anderson .Paak and, Paak and, I can't think. But yeah, Anderson's my boy. My boy saw him live, and he said it was the best show he's ever seen. And he's the most critical dink I know. Like, he is not, like, he's always hating. And he was like, bro, watching Anderson perform and do what he does was like one of the illest things I've ever seen in my entire life.
Nice. Nice.
Alright, so, and obviously from the cards I kind of got this vibe, but what's your favorite sport to watch and your favorite sport to play? So obviously from earlier, I'm assuming football is your favorite sport to play.
Yeah, so we still did like flag football stuff. I love playing football. But,
What's your position?
So I'm like way below 6 feet. That's like an average there. Basketball was a little harder to play for me. I still ball out, bust some ankles, but.
Are you taller than Kevin Hart?
I love. Wait, what you say?
Are you taller than Kevin Hart?
Am I? No, I'm basically shorter than every woman in your entire life.
This cat.
Wait, Tom, you're 5 what?
5'3".
I mean, that is a true statement. Every woman in my life is over 5'3", so yeah, I agree with you on that.
The average height of a woman in this whole world is 5'2". So.
Yeah. Oh my God, he went there.
Oh, well, man, you know, he's not a very tall man, but man, he's, you know.
Hey, he's looking tall.
Big things come in small packages, though.
Well, you know what? The way he made his videos seem like it, he's making himself look tall. The way he set up his camera,
He's the dude, man.
Just like Hart does, bro. Just like Tom Cruise does.
All right, so you know what? And I'll probably get in trouble for this when I ask you for a haircut next time. But do you need a step stool when you cut hair?
So the good thing about me cutting hair, and dickhead, by the way, the good thing about me cutting hair is I can actually see people eye to eye when they're sitting down in the chair. I do a lot of people that are like, I mean, I got 7-foot hitters that are in my chair, people that are literally 7 feet. So that's the one good part. But no, I don't use school.
I was just playing. I just had to joke around there for a second.
What's your burning
I
question?
joke around giving you a faded mullet.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
All right. So I got three questions up, but just a burning question, a bonus question, and then like an opinion question. So my burning question is, obviously, the viewers can't tell, you got a nice beard going on. How long have you had? Because you, by the way, you're looking like Ryan Fitzpatrick. Shout out Fitzmagic for eliminating his Raiders last night.
Man, let's not talk about
You don't want to talk about it, but how long have you been growing out that beard?
Honestly, not long, bro. I think right when COVID started, I think in April, I shaved it down to like a 1 or a 2, just because everyone was freaking out about COVID getting caught in people's beards. But it's probably been 8 months.
That's pretty impressive for 8 months. I'll give you that.
Here doesn't show too much right now here, but we full.
I can tell. And then,
My last night, I got a beard.
yeah, I would say that. My bonus question is, obviously you kind of have longer hair, and I'm kind of growing mine out. What's your advice for someone, any guy that wants to grow out their hair, kind of do the quarantine hair grow out sort of deal?
So the only reason why you don't see guys coming to the barbershop is because they don't understand what they're asking for.
Right.
Know what you want, but just let a barber swag it out. Like, be straight up, be like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you suggest? You know what I mean? Just go to your homie, go to your barber, your stylist, your salon person, and just be like, I want to grow it long. What do you think we can do? You can bring in pictures, and I don't care what anyone says. A lot of people, it helps. But man, I've seen a straight white family come in bringing a picture of Damian Lillard for their kid. Just like, I don't think you understand. It's just hard to do sometimes. So just honestly let them see your head, the shape of your head, what's going on.
Yeah. All right. I feel that. Thank you. And I can't believe that people be actually doing that. But that's funny. But anyway, my last question. That's an actual. Someone brought in a picture of Damian Lillard. Oh.
For a little straight hair kid, yeah.
Damn. All right, my last question is, so do you think that the sports athletes and music artists are doing a good job with advocating for human rights on their platform, and do you have a problem with it?
This is one of them ones, JJ.
Man.
This is it. So, I was a little disappointed in a couple of people. LeBron James is the greatest basketball player in the history of sports, in my opinion. I think he will continue to do as much as he can. And sometimes, especially during COVID, because of what I brought up earlier, our generation and how many people go online and have opinions and stuff like that, he didn't speak up as much as I wanted when it came to, Black Lives Matters, and when it came to certain things. I know he did a lot of things, but he was put in a situation where I felt a lot of different athletes and artists could have all came at the same time and kind of made more of an impact. But like I said, everyone's put in a situation. I mean, as soon as LeBron starts tearing into something like that, that ruins basketball, or crazy chain effect.
Right. Well, you just saw where he kind of, when he went at Maury about China, and then everyone tried to come at his head. But in LeBron's defense, with some of the stuff that he had a lot going on during that time that he was knee deep in, like the voting piece.
LeBron, I don't even say LeBron because he's the biggest athlete that could have made the biggest impact by telling other people or getting more people involved in that. I mean, we did a heck of a job as far as a country with that whole thing in my eyes for being in the pandemic and everything that's going on. I mean, it's hard to do certain things to make an impact when you can't even go to a grocery store or, you know what I'm saying, go shake somebody's hand or whatever. I just felt at the time there could have been a lot more people coming together more than doing their own separate thing. Like, I wanted to see it blow. And I thought that LeBron and some of those big influence guys, they just weren't on the same page with each other and trying to coordinate something.
Right. I'll tell you what, his more than a vote thing was huge. You hear how many people that they got registered to vote?
You talking about LeBron still?
Yeah. Like, he started this.
That guy's done more for the community than any person I can think of in this entire planet that's involved with sports.
Right.
I mean, you talk about Michael Jordan and the shoes, yeah, it's big in the culture, but like, this dude built a school for people.
Right.
This dude constantly donating his money. this dude makes more for Nike than he does on any of his contracts.
Right.
I mean, he's doing certain things, and that's kind of why I was wishing that somebody like LeBron and somebody like, Deshaun Watson, or somebody like, everyone, all the focus was still on Colin Kaepernick for what he did before, but I wanted to see everybody at that time kind of come together and be like, no, listen, like,
Yeah.
this is it. I'm not sticking on how they're telling us to do it because my lawyer or my
I feel you.
said I could not talk.
I feel you.
Or whatever. I want to see it, but like I said, we made a huge dent for what we had in front of us and for what was going through like COVID and all that.
Word. I dig that. Hey, so for me, we got a New Year's resolution because we know New Year's is coming up.
Yeah. By the time we shoot our next show, we'll be in a 2021.
Merry New Year. But what's your New Year's resolution?
Be better than yesterday, bro.
Ooh. Okay.
And yours, Coach?
Man, lose 35 pounds. I'm about to get back here in this gym and start trying to do a few things.
I mean, we can all do that, but
I want to lose some weight, man. I want to lose some weight, and I want to lose weight and keep weight off.
You know what? Bet right now, you lose that 35 pounds 1 year from now, you have me on the podcast again, I'll give you $250.
Say that then, and bring back our Sonics. What's yours? That's you.
Oh.
So before I kind of like that you gave him a bet, because before I get into my New Year's resolution, a big thing that happens with a lot of people's New Year's resolution is they say they're going to do it. They do it for the month of January, and then they're like, I need 2 days off. 2 days off ends up to 10 months off. Then you're back to square one at the beginning.
Incentive is quite a good thing in this world we live in.
Well, exactly. So what I will say is, I think my first New Year's resolution is just always just be the best person that can be, right? Try to change who you are on a daily basis, kind of like what you said, be better than yesterday. Just continue to be great, continue to shine, and but in terms of a personal level, because I obviously graduate in May from college, so I think my goal is just kind of get into the adult world. Thank you. Get into the adult world, kind of like, and just start making a plan for life. Because I'm trying to open up a business myself. I'm trying to get things going. I'm trying to run with it, and I think it's getting to just a consistent workout schedule, regimen, kind of working out and just continue to, again, be healthy, just be respectful of people, and, just live life to fullest, be a better person every single day. And I think that's the best I can come up with. But again, there's incentive. A lot of people say they're going to do something. Oh, and the last thing, and I've kind of started doing this before, is I'm not a big drinker of the adult beverages, and I kind of want to make the goal to try to stay off that for the whole year. I'm not a big drinker in general, but that's kind of my goal. And I know here we're not kind of big on that either in this group, but that's kind of my last one. That's kind of a personal one, just because I feel like when you're trying to be excellent, you're trying to excel, all of that other extracurricular stuff can get in the way sometimes.
Hell yeah.
All right, so we've come to the end of the show.
Oh, wait, no, you had one thing you wanted to say about popcorn?
Yes.
Quickly?
We've come to the end of the show, and I got putting you up on game section.
Yeah. Tip of the day, or put
Check
you up
this
on
out.
game section.
Check this out. $30, or did you know, $30 of raw popcorn translates into $3,000 in sales at movie theaters. I mean, it makes complete sense to me because I'm a smuggler. I used to smuggle. I'm in the movies, so I won't be in a movie theater in a long time from now, probably because of the pandemic. But I've always been a smuggler. But I remember, you buy like three kernels of popcorn, and they want $7, But $30 of raw popcorn translates into $3,000 in sales at movie theaters. That's insane.
We'll start slinging some popcorn, bro.
Yeah, for real. So, just putting you up on game, You may have to be like me and smuggle your stuff in the movie theaters, man. I mean,
for your age, exactly. You gotta just.
That's too much.
That is too much. But
popcorn hustling, bro.
Yeah.
Started a business.
For real.
But yeah, and any new slang of the day? Because I know that you have slang sometimes on shows. We didn't get any. I mean, we got Westbrook now. Westbrook now is turnover.
We'll give that to you. Yeah, he called
Westbrook now is turnover. And by the way, I don't want people, because last week I said my opinion on the Celtics, and Celtic fans came at me.
Oh, did they come at you?
Lou Gaddis, Big Lou, shout out Big Lou, came at me.
Lou don't play.
Immediately. He's like, don't sleep on my Celtics, and then after Christmas Day, he was very quiet. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh!
But,
I don't get it, sweet Lou.
I know he'll be watching, so he'll test me for that. And I don't want Russell Westbrook fans to come at me. But I'm a stats guy, and I've looked into the stats, and there's no one that's more efficient in committing turnovers, which is a bad stat, than Russell Westbrook in the league. So, I think it's a big
It's a statistician right here.
What? Repeat that?
So there's also no one like that, man. I mean, he's got 56 whatever turnovers a game, but he's also dropping 30 points, 12 rebounds, and 15 assists.
Right,
we were discussing that.
We were discussing that. But the other thing is this: no one wants to play with him. KD jumped ship.
Well, he actually jumped ship from Harden, so.
Hold on. Have you watched interviews from people that play with him? Love Westbrook as a person.
Oh yeah. If he was playing for me, I'm gonna live with the turnovers because he works so hard. And that's the thing. Sometimes as a coach, you got to take them with their faults, man. So, what do we need to tell these guys to do? They need to.
Everyone needs to like, subscribe, follow our Instagram page, follow our Facebook page, and please do the same for the Crow's Nest.
Yes,
Shout
sir.
out Crow's Nest, our new sponsor, and go over there and let Frank cut your hair. Frank and the crew.
Yeah, man. We want to thank you. Thank you again, Frank, man, for blessing us, man, and coming through on the show, being our first guest.
Thank you,
and
sir.
We're definitely going to have you be a pop-up guy. We're going to come visit you on a regular basis in the podcast. We're just going to catch you at the shop and just go ahead and zoom you in.
You guys have me on, man. I'm excited for what you guys are going to do. Stay grinding, stay doing your thing. Put some content out there for this world. I know it's going to be a long, lonely little winter with the way it's been so far.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I have people telling me that we have another 6 months before things are back to normal.
Yeah.
So that takes up all winter and spring. That's
I'm hearing
hopefully summer
shutdowns.
will be normal.
I'm hearing shutdowns, but the coffee table must go on. You know what I'm
The
saying?
coffee table must go on.
So,
And it will go on.
we appreciate you, Frank the Barber, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Frank.
Hey,
All right.
thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Happy New Year to you, man.
Merry New Year!
Merry New Year! Good. We're gonna have my guy. We call him the Deacon, but his name is David Jones, and he is the dude, man. So
stay tuned
Stay
for
tuned.
that. And quick shout out, by the way, that I forgot to do, because so I don't know if you guys have kind of realized, but Jay Jax over here is in charge of repping the gear for a certain theme with every show, and my dog kind of has become the fashionista. And I can't take credit for this look. It's my cousin's look. So shout out Cousin Joel. Thank you for the credit. I had to follow the fashion tips, and each week I'm gonna try to bring in a different outfit. I like sometimes rep gear, especially when we get kind of into the Cape kind of swinging things. But either way, thank you for tuning in.
yes, we appreciate
We
it.
will be back next week.
Second episode's a wrap.
Second episode's a wrap.